is true, is it not, that at or about the time of the 2008 transaction, the Southern Nevada Water Authority offered to purchase and or lease shares of both Bunkerville Irrigation Company and Mesquite Irrigation Company, correct?
There was an offer that came out, I think it was probably a month or so after, maybe April, May, I'm not sure exactly when they came out.
And you and or entities associated with you and your family took advantage of the offer from the Southern Nevada Water Authority by leasing shares of Bunkerville Irrigation Company to, and or Mesquite Irrigation Company to the Southern Nevada Water Authority for several $1,000s a year, correct?
Your Honor, what relevance this possibly has to a motion to disqualify Mr. Linetti's counsel?
Well, the relevance is potential bias of a witness who may have a...
Bias against the water district seems to be the questions he's asking. Bias against who?
Well, I mean, the theory, it's not my role here to answer that.
And I'm not directing that at the court, I'm just asking the question.
Well, I'm going to say that it's a allowable area because as I perceive it, it's an effort to show that the witness has some kind of bias. I'm not saying I find that myself. I think that's what counsel's up to here.
Maybe we could get an offer of proof from Mr. Zarnowski on what exactly is he trying to show. What's the bias here that's in any way relevant to this motion?
We don't need to do that. You can go ahead, Mr. Zarnowski.
So it is true, is it not, that you and or entities that you own and or your family members own took advantage of the offer of the Southern Nevada Water Authority and leased water shares for several $1,000s a year each, correct?
That's correct. Let me make it, let's clarify this too though, so we're clear in here. That is correct. There was an offer that came out. I also, and we leased a lot of water, I'll give you that. But I also went to the board and said, look, you have shares. Instead of getting whatever you're getting, which was pittance, you owe it to the residents out there to enhance the revenue stream to the Virgin Valley Water District. I encouraged them at a special meeting that they ought to take advantage of some of this lease money that was offered. We still own the water. Virgin Valley Water District would have still owned the water. It was a smart business move, and I encouraged the Virgin Valley Water District to take advantage, keep ownership of the water, and bring some money into the coffers so they can continue to, run the system.
And at the same time that the Hafen family, portions of the Hafen family, were leasing Mesquite Irrigation shares to the Southern Nevada Water Authority for thousands of dollars a share, parts of the Hafen family turned around and leased water, the same shares, from the Virgin Valley Water District for $250 a share, correct?
Let me explain something. We lease shares, you are correct. After the fact that in the special meeting where Mr. Winters just said that we do not have any shares to lease, which was partially true. But in the offer that came from Southern Nevada, you could start your leases in 2009. The agreements that they had with the existing contracts to lease their water, the Virgin Valley Water District water, would have expired. They could have taken advantage of that and leased it for substantially more. I went in a fair bid process. Some, I think, were $250. It was whatever the going rate was, but it was a bid process. Some I think I might have paid as high as $550, but it was a fair process.
And do you think that the public in Mesquite, if as part of this litigation, is made aware that former board members and city council members' families are leasing shares of water to Southern Nevada Water Authority for thousands of dollars a year, and then leasing the same water from the Virgin Valley Water District for $250 a year, if that comes out in this litigation, do you think that would have a public interest in the city of Mesquite?
You know what, I'd certainly like for all of it to come out in the public interest out in Mesquite so they can understand the whole picture of all the water out there. Because what they're going to understand is, they're going to understand a couple of things, okay? The Hafen family, including Craig Hafen, had the opportunity to sell water for a substantial amount of money. We did not, okay? We still own our water. If it needs to be utilized back in Mesquite, Nevada, we still own it. The second part is the golf courses, which in fact, Mr. Banish negotiated both sides of contracts, and I'm not sure if there was full disclosure when he negotiated both sides of the contract to get people he represented on both sides of the deal, these low lease for water. So, you know what? I'm really not afraid to have that come out, because I think people will understand the clearer picture of what all happened in the transactions, the process, and quite frankly today, Virgin Valley Water District in Mesquite has 403 water shares, okay? The Hafen family, my little brother, we lease 17 of those shares. So you've got 380 plus shares that are out there leased to other entities, not us, okay? Not us. There's only 17 that we lease. And by the way, those were the last 17. But I still maintain that the best way to protect and do what was in the best interest for the residents of the Virgin Valley Water District would have been, when the opportunity arose, to take advantage of the lease situation, bring in revenue, and continue the system out there. And they still own the water.
One moment, Your Honor.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bingham, any follow-up?
Yes. Mr. Hafen, earlier when you were being asked questions by Mr. Zarnowski, you said something. I want to see if there's a correction here. You said billings from Michael Johnson when you were talking. You were showing some bills. Is that what you intended to say?
Billings from George Banish, excuse me.
Okay.
Mr. Bingham, it's come to my attention that we're getting close to the need for a comfort break. So, what's your plan right now? I don't care. I'm not trying to limit you on time. I'm just trying to get a feel for where we're at.
We can take a break, Your Honor. I mean, if it's immediate, then I may have 5 or more minutes here, based on the questions that were asked.
Let's take a 10-minute break. We'll come back, even if it's 5 minutes. I've got a few questions too. So let's take a 10-minute break. I'd ask everybody to be real prompt with this 10-minute idea, because I do want to take a lunch break pretty soon for everybody. So it's, well, you can use that clock up there. By the time that big hand is on 10, I'd like everybody to be assembled and ready to go, okay? So 10 minutes.